And here we are with the new flyweight champion of the world, Senor Luke Shabba Shanks. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, very well, thanks yourself.
That was very formal. I mean, being at the gym for X amount of years. I mean, needless to say, this podcast is all about your sort of, under my tutelage and how my mentoring has got you to world championship status. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah,
this is it, mate. Being your punching bag for the last X amount of years has been all right. How is life in sunny
yeah.
Scotland?
Yeah, it's good, man. It's cold, getting cold again. It's getting cold now up there, but no, it's really good, man. I don't see much of outdoors anyway. I'm just here in the gym most of the time, but yeah, it's good. It's good.
I mean, this is it. They made quite a big thing of that on them Cage Warriors about you living in the gym and being some sort of like gym hobbit. But again, it wasn't quite as dramatic as that in the same sense. But so with your training post fight, then have you had much time to sort of like deload? Because again, as much as you didn't take that much damage in the fight itself, obviously the stress, the
Yeah,
camp, everything else. Do you have much of time from the fight onwards to sort of recover as such?
yeah. I mean, well, as you know, I came back to Northampton to see my mum and friends and family, and I popped in BST. But yeah, it was like because of the 6-person rule thing. It was supposed to be like we're supposed to have a champ party when we finished. That was the plan. But instead of having one night, we had to do 3 nights of 6 people. So instead of having one night of just getting wrecked, it was three. So yeah, I was pretty knackered after that one, and then ever since I've just been sort of back on it, and yeah, just training as usual. I didn't pick up any injuries. It was a hard camp, so the week back after that was quite hard getting back into things. But yeah, I've been back for about 2 weeks now, feeling great.
I mean, this is a huge transition in itself because again, like your training, the level, almost your base has gone up that much more. So again, your camps, are they like technique sort of strategy specific? Are they more like conditioning sort of side? Is it quite balanced? What do your camps tend to look like opposed to standard sort of fight training?
It's very intense, man. The last 4 weeks, I can only really do that for 4 weeks because that is strenuous on your body. That's like pretty much 4 hours a day, 6 days a week. 2 in the morning, 2 at night, and yeah, it's just the intensity goes up each time, and then obviously you have a taper week when you're cutting the weight, even so, the sort of last 4 or 5 weeks, that's pretty full on intense, and even now it's pretty intense, but it's not to that same level just yet.
Now, when it comes to obviously intensity, it sort of varies again in regards to peaking and this kind of thing in itself. Do you sort of program that in your own training? Is it sort of the coaches themselves that is James Doolan sort of behind that, or is it more sort of how you feel and sort of play around with it?
Yeah, every fight is different, and I sort of do it on what I've always done it on, and good now the joys of being full time, I'm really pushing myself further. Like James gives me the plan for the week, and then it's pretty intense as it is, and then some days I can't have a rest day. I'm doing active rest and stuff like that, and just throwing a few extra sessions in myself. I just did a bit extra today. I've done swimming and then ran 10K, so it's just a little bit on top. That's more for a little bit of recovery as well as swimming, sorting my body out. If you got a sore back or something, swimming is good for that kind of stuff, knocking out all the aches and pains.
Well, definitely, because again, the thing with swimming, you don't have the same sort of like joint strain as well. Because again, the nature of being one of the sort of lighter, faster guys, the extra sort of pace, the more sort of every much more steps to try and catch up, sort of get the distance up, sort of wearing the joints in this, that, and the other. And when it
Yeah.
comes to like regards to the intensity and the sort of fatigue side, because again, you obviously got your recovery down with that. Like, how does your I don't know, training vary as such? So when you're swimming sort of thing like that, was that just a sort of a spur of the moment thing? Is that part of like your I don't know, out of gym conditioning sort of stuff? How would you sort of structure that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it was before, and I couldn't do it for my last one because of the whole situation with the lockdown. So I'm only just getting in there now. I still got like a horrible feeling on my skin because you can have a shower and then jump out and have a shower, but they wouldn't let me use any shampoo in the like communal showers. They don't let you do that. Apparently, it must spread corona or something. But it's literally like a quick wet wash and you get out. But yeah, on my hair and stuff, so I need to get another shower now.
I
But
mean, you said it, not me. It's all right.
no, but yeah, back to the point. I'm just sort of doing that 3 days a week now, just for an hour swimming, and then I'm using a running machine sometimes if it's raining or whatever, because I was doing a lot of raining. I was doing a lot of running in the rain at night time, and yeah, it's not so good. I mean, in the last 4 weeks, I'll be doing that kind of stuff, but right now I'm staying nice and warm while I'm doing that kind of stuff.
You can't be running in the run too long because it gets quite, cold and a bit sort of strenuous in itself. But there we are. I mean, the main sort of thing behind these questions is more the sort of transition and how you're, I don't know, going about planning your sort of camps, your sessions. Because again, the transition in your training from BST to high level now, I mean, everything's been almost completely changed regards of structure, regards of intensity as such. Because again, it's not, when I say intensity, I mean the sort of the sessions you're putting that extra bit in versus the ones you're starting to train a bit smarter. Because again, the frequencies increase. So again, if you have the intensity for every single session, man, you'd be so fucking burnt out all the time. So
Yeah.
from like a sort of reference point as such, what do you feel has been one of the biggest changes? Like, because from your camps themselves, what were you not doing at BST? You started picking up at high level. That was really made the biggest sort of difference.
Well, a lot's different, but at the same time, it's the same fundamentals. It's just, yeah, the training regime is somewhat similar, but there's morning sessions too, basically. So there's pro morning sessions, 2 hours in the morning and 2 at night. So you can either do your morning sessions. So most of my work and sparring is done all in the mornings now. And then night times, like either jiu-jitsu classes or I do a lot of strength and conditioning work now and stuff like that. Stuff that I wasn't really doing before, and I knew I needed to do it, but yeah, it's all getting added in now to my game. But yeah, the main difference for me moving away is I've not got the comforts of my mum and dad's house, you know what I mean? And on top of that, yeah, like that last fight, if I'd have lost that fight, that would have been me back in work. And it's the same in December. It's like that's what's driving me to train and do that extra mile, because like the worst thing possibly that could happen in my mind is going back to work and not being able to live my dreams. So that's enough in itself.
I mean, this is an interesting thing when it comes to goal setting, because everyone talks about what you want to do, but even more important, I feel it's more important to say, where do you not want to be? Like, where do you want to be in 5 years? It's sort of a cliche question, but where do you not want to be? Like, still stuck at home, still not, going out there, not doing this, that, and the other. But again, with that kind of pressure on your shoulders to then make sure you don't end up in that sort of position, how do you still stay like relaxed and have fun with the whole process? Like, again, your last fight, you're there chatting shit to him, saying, I'm the champ, this, that, and the other, again, dropping the elbows, being all happy, being you. Like, that kind of composure, is that part and parcel of it? Is it the whole sort of apocalypse image? Where does that sort of come from?
Yeah, I didn't really think too much into all that stuff. And I didn't actually plan on talking to him. It just kind of happened. But yeah, it was more I was right next to Dan Strauss, and I could hear him saying stuff that I weren't too happy about. So instead of saying anything to him, I just thought I'll start shouting louder than him. So no one can hear him, because I didn't like it when he calls my punches rabbit punches. I was like, these ain't rabbit punches, man. You want to get in there and feel them. You wouldn't be calling these rabbit punches if they were landed, sort of thing. But I don't know, that might be the technical name for them, but I don't call them rabbit punches anyway. And yeah, that's what made me do that shouting, because I was literally obviously the no crowd thing, and then when they're 6 foot away, I can hear everything they're saying because I'm stuck to the cage right where they're commentating.
I mean, this is kind of how the UFC sort of taking a turn as well. You can hear the commentators saying they need to do this and not doing this. And okay, that's interesting. They start doing that, hearing the advice and sort of intervening. But again, the commentary on that side, Dan Strauss throwing shade. Like, again, I've been on the other side of that. They ain't rabbit punches. They're horrible little things. Nasty fucking digging shots. And they're sort of clipping. Again, the little gloves as well. Your sort of style, just dirty elbows, little fucking cuts. And again, it's just horrible. It's the best way for it. But regards to the crowd situation, like how did you find that transition? Because again, you were going to fight initially on the March card, and then I think you had border problems with Fadine, I'm not sure. But prior to that, again, you've only fought obviously in front of people. Like, what was that transition like?
Yeah, because Cage Warriors is such a big show, and there's so much like cameras and the whole filming cranes, etc. And just the sheer amount of production team in the building to get these shows sort of on the road. Apart from, of course, the cheering, it wasn't as different as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a matter of like a weird, eerie feel to the whole thing, but no, you still get your walkout music and all that kind of stuff. So I think if the music weren't there, it'd be even more. Then it'd be eerie. It'd be like, right, you're in an empty building now. But yeah, when there's music in there, it can kind of fool you. I was noticing that at the went to a regular gym on the running machine earlier, and there's no music in there. And it was the same sort of eerie feeling as what I thought was going to be at the regular in the fight. But no, it was pretty much the same. I didn't feel much difference. But I do sometimes feed off the crowd as well. And I know a lot of my opponents in the past have almost broke when the crowd is cheering or not cheering, etc. And I don't seem to pay too much attention to that, because some of my favourite fighters have been booed, if you know what I mean. Like, they've been booed for the whole fight. But I'm thinking, even Khabib, I was just watching his fight back with Ala Quinta, and he was getting booed because it was in New York, so he was getting badly booed on the way to the cage, and all throughout the fight, even though of course he's winning the whole thing. So yeah, it wasn't any different to me, but it does affect a lot of people. I know that.
I mean, this is kind of it as well. I'm like, being the heel as such is almost a bit fun, isn't it? I like spoiling the party a little bit. And this is kind of interesting, again, how your sort of style changed like over that sort of time, again, that transition period. Because like Petra Menga fight, and before that, it was very much, I don't know, known for being the untidy kind of fighter. So although you had the technique, you had everything else, it was more the sort of scrappiness that made it that much more effective. Whereas now you take the Sanfordine fight, absolutely clinical, as in clean, airtight, and just absolutely suffocating kind of pressure. And again, it's an interesting sort of style, because I'm curious how well that would have been received by the crowd. Because again, if you're there fucking standing bang, sort of, just please let me bang bro kind of mood, to
Yeah.
smash and clinching up, I'm curious how, I don't know, like, because you say feeding off the crowd, again, that can go two ways. Like, have you been booed before and had to react against that as such? Do you try and ignore it? How do you manage that as such?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point, Alda. If I had got booed at any stage, I would have probably stepped the punishment up even more, because I'd be thinking like, oh, I'm not having this, so I'm gonna like put on more of a clinic and get a finish. But yeah, because that wasn't there. All my main focus was win the fight. As you know, Cage Warriors, there's no knockout bonus, there's no finish bonus. There's so much on the line. My job was just to win the fight, and given all these other targets like knockout bonus, finishing bonus, it might have been a bit different. But as you know, there's so much on the line, and I weren't risking anything to put my rank at the bottom of the list again. I'm not ready for any of that anytime soon.
I mean, that's a huge point. And without the incentive to try and get a specific finish, if anything, it was more the fact it was dominant performance with 5 rounds. Like, there's no round, no second where it wasn't that sort of way. I feel that had more weight behind it. Because again, if you get like a finish in the first round or two, there's a conversation for a rematch. Oh, I might have been lucky. I'm saying if you got 25 minutes saying I wasn't lucky, I think there's not much more of a conversation after that.
Yeah,
So, regards to
that's
your
right. Yeah.
Come on.
Oh yeah, sorry. Well, that just made me think think back to it, and yeah, as I'm getting ready, I'm standing there getting ready to go out, and then Hadley, I just seen he scored that first round knockout, and then he starts calling me a bum, and he should have got the title and this and that. And I'm standing there ready to go out, and I'm thinking, right, this has made me mad, and I'm thinking, if I score a first round knockout, I'm going to be in the same. I'm just going to look the same as him. And I thought, what's better than like 5 rounds of getting beaten up? I think I'd rather get knocked out in the first round than take a 5-round beating that can possibly change your life. It's like, so yeah, that's another thing. He made me angry. I took it out on the guy in front of me. But yeah, I mean, I was cool, calm, collected in there, but at the same time, I did have that venom.
I mean, that's kind of what you need as well. That extra sort of like, you wanted that bit more, a bit nasty, a bit more intentions. And this is an interesting sort of transition in itself. Because again, like when you get caught with a shot or caught with a sub or whatever, the wording there, it's caught. If you didn't make that mistake, it would have been all right. Again, 25 minutes of just, I'm getting smashed. That wanting to sort of quit. That's sort of, okay, it was punishment. It's just like, oof, there's not really much to say after that. So, in regards to your preference from where you go next from here, would you want to start clearing out the names in the current division now in flyweights? Would you move to bantamweight? What's your current preference now? Obviously, you got trilogy in December, nothing confirmed yet, but what's the preference?
Yeah, like well, yes, it's a big risk, in this, like if you're in the UFC and you're getting big money to take the leap up and do that guy, I mean, by all means, I'll do it. But yeah, I'm going to defend this belt for sure the first time round, and then that's the thing at the minute. It's getting to the point where, like, if I do get injuries in this in the sport fighting these like world class competition, I've got no money to fix myself. So I would like to go be the champ and hang around in Cage Warriors as long as possible. But at the same time, you're thinking, man, you're back to work at any second, because like for instance, this week I've just spent more than what I got in the whole fight for the fight bus on tests and stuff, so I can work with one of the best nutritionists in the world, Israel Adesanya's nutritionist, Jordan Sullivan. So I've just literally put all my money into that, so I can work with one of the best guys to get to that next level. Like I'm not saving anything. I'm spending it all so I can like be the best version for when that time comes. But yeah, like you say, I do want to get to the UFC, and the way money wise, the way things are going, I need to do the quickest route possible, I think. So yeah, I think I'll keep just defending the flyweight title and maybe aim for the 2 UFC belts. Maybe get the bantamweight one. We'll see.
Pick up on the way. And this is kind of the same sort of wage conversation at this sort of level, because again, you get like Jai Herbert again saying he's got the champion belt on the Saturday night and he's got his tall belt on the Monday. So it's one of those sort of things that why are these world champions still having to work? Like why is this part of it? And again, obviously being part of Cage Warriors, you can't give too much of a this, that, and the other on it. But again, it's quite frustrating. But it's good to see you're reinvesting back in yourself in that extra sort of step, because again, you've gotten this bit further from investing in yourself. So why stop it there? Now, with nutrition there then, what's the usual sort of preference with you and how you've done it before? Like, is it the weight cutting specifically? Is it general performance? Is it how you're feeling, recovery? What is it you want to get from the nutrition, the way you're changing it up?
I just want, I had a nutritionist and strength and conditioning coach here, great guy, and yeah, but I wasn't following the plan. I had my CleanEatMealprep on the side, and then in between, I wasn't following the plan of what to eat, because say I have a spare like 1,000 calories to eat. Whatever I was eating, it it wasn't on the plan, and it wasn't working for me. So yeah, I just want to see what this Jordan can sort of fix up for me, and also, yeah, the Clean Eat Meal Prep I'm using at the minute, they can tailor make any food, so maybe the meals weren't great for my body, etc. So I'm getting all the testing done to see what's best, and yeah, just so I can get all that optimum performance in, because like before this fight, I got to the where I got to, like, beating Pietro Menga. I'm like a terrible diet, so I know if I fix that, like, that's my one thing. I can stay disciplined and everything else, but so far the nutrition side is where I've been lacking. So now I'm the champ, I'm gonna start acting like the champ and get all the nutrition in. And I'm sure you'll see my body change in the next fight, because I'll be working with one of the best guys in the world.
And this is like getting Diet Coke to the Burger King now. You'd be alright, I think. I'll get down to
Yeah.
at least bantamweight, nothing else. I mean, I remember, obviously this is, I'd say off the record, but over the old school BST days, getting your McFlurries, this, that, and the other. So yeah, you know, you got to get your treat meals in every now and then. And on the sort of subject of like treat meals and like obviously enjoying yourself, because obviously when you're the champ, you're training full time, you're living in the gym, how would you find time not sort of, I don't know, burning out with the whole MMA 24/7? Obviously it's your life, but how do you find that kind of switch off sort of period? Is it sort of a session in the week you sort of do something different, a bit of fun? Is it just rest when you need to? How do you find that balance?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't got anything confirmed just yet, but that's the thing. It's non-stop, man. Even when I'm back home, even on those 3 nights drinking and this and that, I'm thinking, like, I'm almost feeling guilty, because I'm like, I've got another fight in December and I'm defending this belt, and that's the thing why a lot of the best guys in the gym can't fight, because when you've got a fight, it's like that opponent, especially at this level now. Maybe at amateur it wasn't the same, but at this level now, when I've got an opponent that's like equally a world-class fighter, you're thinking about them 24/7. Even when you're laughing and joking with your mates, they're in the back of your head, and you just have to deal with that. And that's what makes you better every day. But some people just can't deal with that. They have to take a break or whatever. It's not easy, man. But you just have to deal with it. It's part and parcel of the job. But yeah, there's no switching off for me. Although I've just moved out of the gym. I'm still spending about 12 hours a day. But I've moved out of the gym, and yeah, one of my friends at the gym, he owns a pub/hotel, and I'm living there now. So it gets me out. So I sleep outside the gym and then back in the morning. Yeah, I didn't want to become a full-on gym rat. I thought I'll never be able to get back into normal society, or just be the gym rat.
Just covered in ringworm and stuff and stuff. I'll be a full-time like pub rat kind of thing instead. Just be absolute pisshead, just be absolute wanker. Like sponsored by Stella when you
I
walk.
was actually thinking of it more on the prison terms. You know, when you see some documentaries on prisoners where they can't go back into regular society because it's what I'd be like in the gym. I wouldn't be able to leave after a while. I've just been there too long, so I thought I'll better sleep somewhere else, just so I stay a bit safe.
It definitely makes sense to have that kind of divide anyway. Like everyone at the minute, obviously with COVID, are like working from home again. That work home life sort of split is always a bit tricky. And again, when it's something like what you're doing now, there's no like 9 to 5. It's 24/7, and it's then trying to find that split somewhere there anyway. Now, with the mindset side of it, it's quite an interesting one. So when it comes to like, your personal things, and you're saying about your opponent is sort of on the front of your mind no matter what you're doing, you've got to try and make sure you're outworking them. How do you find being able to rest when you need to, knowing that still? Because thinking, okay, I'm feeling a bit sore, a bit broken, but this guy's also training, because in everyone's mind, their opponent is some sort of athlete who's like, you know, crazy levels, doesn't get injured, he's fucking nonstop. Like, how do you find allowing yourself to rest when you need to?
Yeah, honestly, it's hard work, man. It's like that's the thing. None of these guys are resting, man. You seen Khabib. He had a broken toe and he's still training, man. That's the difference between these guys and everyone else. Do you see that X-ray of his toe that
He's
just
grim,
come
man.
out? Yeah, it's just like that's the thing. When you speak to guys that have quit their sports and they've gone back into regular jobs with injuries, they'll be like, "Well, you're lucky you haven't had any injuries." And it's like, trust me, man, I've got a ton of them, and I'm just one of the guys that never stopped, and that's the only difference. Everyone's getting injured every day, and yeah, I'll never rest, man. I'll just do something else, like say if I've got a sore neck or a sore leg, I'll just do something else. But I'm always training. Even if you're not doing that much, it's the mentality is still training. So if you got a sore leg, I'll go on and do some arm exercises. I'll always be doing something, and yeah, not switching off. I'm taking the rehab and stretching and yoga sort of side of things a lot more now because I can feel, yeah, body takes longer to recover as you're getting older. I can even tell from like 21 to 25, it's starting to hit me a little bit now.
I was going to say, be careful with that treading lightly because I'm 25 as well. I'm thinking you're saying I'm getting old now. I think fuck off. It's not that bad. It's all right. It's one of them ones. But yeah, it's good to see like you've got that healthy kind of balance sense. It's not like complete flatline switch off, but it's not still trying to again the other side of things. Still manage to sort of tick over, keep your things. I don't know, keep things ticking over quite nicely. And with that side, still when you're sparring and you're like competing with each other in the gym. How do you find that kind of like mental sort of side of things? Are you trying to win the rounds? Is it trying to like, I don't know, work on certain techniques specifically? Is it stuff you've done in the class? Like what's your, I don't know, reference points? Say you go in the gym for session whenever, sparring session, 5-5s, whatever you're doing. What is your
Yeah,
mindset at that?
yeah, I'm always trying to win, man, all the time. Even yeah, if I lose the round, it's it's a bad thing. Me and Raymond had a crazy little rivalry at BST. Like, say if I ever won the round one day, it'd be like floating around in his head, and he'd change up the game and do something different to me. And yeah, we're always going back and forth for that. We're always trying to just edge the rounds of each other. And of course, Raymond's a nightmare to deal with, and that's why it got me so good in the wrestling and my wrestling defense, etc. So yeah, I'm always trying to edge the rounds, and yeah, if I'm losing them, I'm always like thinking about them the next day and just trying to get better. But I won't do anything. They're not super competitive to the point where you're trying to kill the guys. I'm talking like wrestling exchanges, winning on points, getting more volume and not getting hit, etc. More than just trying to finish the guy.
This is kind of it like, hey, a little light round trying to win it. I'm going to fucking knock you out and I'll win win by finish instead of like points. But yeah, I see what you mean. You're trying to like,
Yeah,
edge it out. But
yeah.
with
I'm trying to hit the guy 5 times lightly, not one hard one in training. Though.
I was going to say, glad you specified that. Now, with that
Yeah.
question itself, a bit of an extension sort of thing with this. With, say you have 5 rounds. First round, you end up losing on points by your own sort of judging scorecards. What happens in the next round with
Yep.
someone else? Are you then trying to win that round with more aggression, or is it a completely fresh round to you?
No, yeah, yeah. If you're down, you've got to make up for it. Yeah, definitely. No, if I say in the Hignett fight, I messed up in the first round, and he was just a little bit more active, and then I was thinking, oh, that's pretty even because I got a takedown and got a few strikes off. But yeah, my coach was like, "Man, you're down." I was like, "What? I'm down? I'm down around." And I instantly I was pissed off, and I made up for it in the last 2. And yeah, that's always the way you got to be. You can't if you're down, you've got to make up for it, or you're gonna stay on that losing. You're just going to lose the fight. You need to do something about it right then and there. It's not a fresh round. You're 1 round down. Because, yeah, you can see that in the guys that are winning the fights and trying to get finishes to the guys that are just trying to get finishes. And, of course, if they don't get their finish, they've lost the fight. used to be the way I used to fight, but not anymore.
I mean, this sort of takes me to the next sort of point with this. Again, it was more your, not priorities in the sense of like what you want to do. Obviously, you want to get the finishes, you want to, get the highlight reel stuff. But when it comes to your fight preferences, so what means more to you now opposed to back before the high level move? Essentially, is it more general like ground control and positioning stuff? Is it more just less damage you take? What's your concept of winning a round or such? What's your preference when you go to sort of think, okay, I won that because X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, I don't have a preference. I just want to be dominant, like feared almost, like Khabib, that Chimaev guy is coming in there. People are scared of him. I want that sort of reputation, and that's what you got to earn, man. But yeah, I mean, guys coming into that could be fight, they're like so scared, man. You see Gagey before the fight, he stood across to him, and that's when it really hit him. He's like, oh no, what I've got myself in for now, man. And he broke before the fight started, and that's the problem, man. Did you catch on to that? He didn't look too confident before the fight started, Gagey.
This is what the alarm bells
Did you
kind of
see
were a
any
little
of
bit.
that?
Yeah, I saw, because again, this is the weird transition that Gaethje's the one who has too much fun and needs to learn to relax, all this, that, and the other. But he just looks so tense, so sort of nervous. And again, obviously you're fighting for a world title, you're going to be a bit nervous, but this is from someone who's always given for the bravado of, I don't give a shit, I love it in there. I've got to be told to calm down, I'm loving it so much, but he's just fucking petrified.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, that's the thing. I think against McGregor, he wouldn't have been like that. I think he would have been all relaxed and enjoyed it, but that guy's just terrifying, man. I wouldn't want to be stood against Khabib.
oh, maybe horrible. Absolutely, it's just exhausting. Now, with that being said, again, Khabib being quite a bit bigger than you, obviously, just for general parlance, do you train with a lot of guys of different weights, or is it all your specific division? Are you doing like, I don't know, flies to like bantams, or are you doing like the whole gym, mixed levels, mixed weights? What's your like preference, like sparring partners?
Yeah, I try and stay with bantams up to featherweight. Lightweights for taking knocks and bangs, it's not good, man. I do wrestling and grappling with lightweights and above, but for striking, it's not clever, man. It's like these guys hit hard, man, and when you're a smaller guy, you don't want to be taking shots off these big guys. I've done that since like when I was 10 training. I started kickboxing at age 10, and I was fighting like fully grown men, sort of from about 13 onwards, and I was still the same size I am now. They're all saying, "Oh, you're going to be a huge kid one day," and I was like, "No, no,
Still
you haven't
waiting
seen
for
me
it.
before."
Still waiting for it.
My mum was small, so I always knew I was going to just. She said it was the same thing for her in school. She had a huge growth spurt early on, and then there was no sort of size difference. I think I was 5'5" when I was 13, and then it just stopped from there. But yeah, I've always been training with these bigger guys, and then when you see Kavanagh and people like that saying my body's crippled because I was training with the big guys, it's not a good idea. So yeah, featherweights and below is better.
I mean, this is kind of where that was sort of going as such, because again, as much as now it's all a team, you're all friends, and sat in the other, there is now the big golden X on your back, that being the world champion. That, oh, I stopped the world champion, I stopped the world champion. Like, how do you find? I don't know. Do you feel that pressure a bit more in the gym with rolling with people and sparring people, as much as it's all like the usual atmosphere? Do you feel a bit more of a, okay, I see what they're
Uh,
saying?
Not really, man. Not really. I've always now I'm still the same, man. Like if you beat me back then, I would have been more mad. You know what I mean? Closer to the fight, that's when I'm like, man, I can't lose a round anymore, and I won't be fuming, but I'll be thinking about it all the time. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done this, and yeah, no. So I've always got a target on my back anyway.
I mean, that's another conversation in itself. That's a different topic, but there we are. But again, and this is also came when it comes to like obviously the weight differentials and the wear and tear, because this is it. As much as like we're talking about injury prevention just from like general rehab and stuff, when you get fucking 100-kilo guys on you trying to fucking smash you, like you tell me how good your technique is when you're just getting fucking just steamrolled. It's just, I don't know, it's different world,
Yeah,
man.
that's it. Yeah, I'm too tough for my own good as well, and I won't want to tap. I learned my lesson a few times at BST. I had some big judo guy crunching me up a few times, and a few other guys putting me to sleep. I'm like, no, I'm not getting tapped by you, because you can tell their technique's not that great. But when you're like 110-kilogram judo guy that's done it since the age of 5, but his BJJ technique's a little off, he's still going to put you to sleep with the lapel grab. So yeah, I'm too tough for my own good, so I need to go with smaller guys.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I think I remember seeing that once or twice, but here we are again. It's a bit of validation, that stamp of approval, stamp of acknowledgement. It's been validated. Here we are.
Definitely.
We'll take a quick break for a sponsor shout out. So, any sponsors you've got to hand? Anyone you want to shout out at the minute?
Yeah. So yeah, my main guys are CleanEatMealprep, sorting my food out. Of the new additions is Jordan Sullivan from is the nutrition side of things. Israel Adesanya's boy from across the pond, and then Mychondria red light therapy. They've gave me one of their lights, it's a MyLight MIDI, and I've been using a cheaper red light device for the last, say, 2 years, but now I've finally got my hands on one of the really good ones. And basically, the time difference. I used to sit under my arm for, say, 20 to 30 minutes every night on different areas of your body. Now I'm just 5 minutes with the best one possible, and the recovery with these things is amazing, man, and they cure a lot of other things like psoriasis and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm just using it purely for recovery and like getting good blood to your areas. So yeah, shout out to them guys, and yeah, I think I've got a new fight gear sponsor as well, but it's not fully been announced yet, so I'll keep that one quiet.
Keep
And of
that
course, my Itgelcbd, yeah, they've sorted me out on my Apocalypse range, and we're actually, there's a few pages of me with a belt in a magazine coming out in the next month or so that'd be pretty cool as well.
Awesome. And shout out to the podcast sponsors, the English Hypnotist, for all your sort of hypnotic needs. Again, he's a really interesting guy. So if you go to his website, englishhypnotist.com, he works with guys like Tim Wilde, Jack Owen, myself every now and then. And again, it's this sort of extra sort of mental sort of support. Like, again, these sort of conversations to help you sort of, I don't know, understand certain things. And again, it's not just fighter specific, it's business people who sort of self-sabotaging and such. It's interesting to really understand it a lot more. We've also got Rieco Clothing, not just Fightwear specifically, it's Fightwear as well, but here we are. So pod 10 at checkout, and the People's IT for all your website needs. So with the recovery, so we'll play around with that a bit more then. So does it affect your sleep, the red light stuff? Is that just general therapy? Is it just for specific injury rehab and like recovery? What's that really based around?
Yeah, I'm not an expert in the field, but I've been using one for a long time, and my sports therapist, Dougie Scott at Back2Balance, he's been using one on me in the treatment room for the past over a year as well, and he'd use it alongside acupuncture, etc., and it just gets all the blood to the area, and the recovery and yeah, all the scientists everywhere, no one's got a bad word to say about the red light therapy. It's really helping people. Unlike, so the psoriasis, for instance, it's getting rid of the area, and it's not bad for your skin. Like the only other thing they had before was they go to the UV sunbed place where you get the tan, but you're also giving yourself skin cancer. So it's one of the only lights, unlike blue light, you get from the LED lights, which is bad for you at night time. They're also using the red light instead of blue light. They're putting their red light on at night time because it messes up your your body clock when the bright lights are on at night time. So I've been trying to use the red light only, and then stay off my phone for the last 3 hours before bed, because it really messes up your sleep. But apart from that, yeah, I'd use it for recovery and then at night time. And yeah, what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, it's very good for your eyes as well. I've actually got bad eyes, and I'm always using it for my eyes. You can just sit 30 centimeters away from it, close your eyes, or use like indirect light coming in, and yeah, it even fixes your eyes. So it's a pretty good piece of kit.
I was going to say, that's pretty miraculous. And don't talk yourself down, mate. You're a scientist. It's all right. Don't everyone knows that. It's fine. And this is kind of what I wanted to get regards to the sleeping side of things and recovery. Because again, when you're doing the sort of doubles and you're doing the early mornings, this, that, and the other, again, it's that sleep sort of gaps in between. Like, it's so important. And like with CBD as well, I found that really helpful, like sort of aches and pains and sort of niggles. Is your sleep like sort of patterns? Is it like this your usual sort of night 8 hours and then a sort of nap in between during the day? What's your usual, I don't know, sleep schedule like when it comes to training throughout the day?
Yeah, I don't actually nap in the day in between sessions, but that's just a personal preference. I just take a good 8 hours, because otherwise, if I've napped in the day, I don't seem to take the full 8 at night time, so it affects the deep sleep. And yeah, I read a few books on the sleep, so and the 8 is really important, and the nap in between is pretty important. But it's if you're taking a nap in between, then only getting 7 at night, you're not getting that extra hour of deep sleep, which is way more important. So for me, 8's enough. But yeah, when I wasn't full time, I was doing about 6, because I was training at BST and then waking up for work at 7 in the morning. You know the score. It's like you're non-stop. You're doing that extra 3 hours after work at the gym, and you're not getting any sleep. So 8 for me is like a miracle, because I was running on 6 before. So yeah, as you can imagine, with cancelling out the blue light from you can either get the glasses, you can get the blue light blocking glasses, or just move on to a red light.
Oh, these are
And
bad boys.
there you go, yeah, and stay off your phone at night time for the last 3 hours. There are other things, like some phones have got blue light filters, but yeah, I'm trying to stay off it now, because it's not good before bed. Yeah.
This transition from when I first met you to now, how professional you are, always little intricacies as well. I love it. Because again, this is like, working, always drinking energy drinks, again, just having, winging it essentially. And now, absolute professional
Yeah.
athlete through and through. Love to see it, my friend. Absolutely love to see it.
Yeah.
And
Thanks,
again,
mate.
this is like that transition and what you're saying about how you have to put this work in to make sure you can keep putting that work in, that you can still have these opportunities, these sort of platforms. And that's in itself, because again, you're, by being the champion and having another fight, that then funds your next camp to then not have to get up at 7 for work and then sleep better. And then it all sort of, the more you do, the more you seem to get out of it almost directly in that sense. Now, regards of your training in like a camp as a
Yeah.
whole, like obviously with lockdown restrictions, we'll sort of just put them to one side for the time being. Do you do all your work in house then? Will you ever like visit a far? Because again, you've got quite a mix of sort of Scottish sort of teams and stuff. Obviously, like Hit Squad and
Yeah,
Dundee.
no, I can get everything in house now, and we just got another wrestling coach in now, Kieran Malone. It's been like from a young kid, he's been in like Ukraine wrestling for the UK and the Scottish wrestling team. So yeah, we've got everything we need in house. Obviously, James is my jiu-jitsu and striking coach, and yeah, I've never needed to go anywhere else. So yeah, it's all in house along with my strength and conditioning. So yeah, the only other place I go is down the other local gym for the swimming pool, and that's pretty much it.
I don't think they're a rival, to be fair. I think it should be all right. It was more from the sort of sparring point. It's not so much the classes, because again, everyone's got their own ways of doing things. And again, if you've got the actual technical stuff there, that's fine. It was more the mixing
Yeah,
up of sparring partners, because again, if you're sparring with the same people all the time, you pick up intricacies, you lose that
yeah,
kind of fresh person, open mat, don't know who this is, don't know their strengths, weaknesses. Like, do
yeah,
you do
yeah,
much in the sense of like a fight simulation? Like, I know John Kavanagh talks about it quite a lot,
yeah.
like a sort of faux fight as such. Do you do anything to that extent, or is it just sort of rinse and repeat the usual sort of
Uh,
sparring sort of
um,
things?
yeah, I thought about that, but Yeah, basically all that is kicking the shit out of someone that you're paying to bring in and kick the shit out of, and it's almost like a confidence thing. And I don't feel I need to do that, but that's sort of all that is. They pay guys in. It happens a lot in boxing. You pay someone to come in, and then you're like trying to kill them basically. And yeah, no, I don't do any of that stuff. I don't feel I need to, but I do get a wide array. Like one championship fighter, Chris Shaw. He fought Rodlek.
Really?
Yeah, he's training alongside me, and he's actually making his transition into MMA. So I'm going to start helping him with wrestling, takedown defense and stuff, and yeah, hopefully he can give me some tips in the striking, because yeah, he's really skilled. And Scott Malone as well. He travels down from Dundee, and we've been like sparring from the last fight together, and he's also on the same card. Well, actually, I'm not sure yet. He might be on the same card as me in December, but nothing's confirmed for me or him at the minute.
Belated congratulations to good old Scott Malone for his championship on Evolution of Combat, I think it was. Got the strap on there.
Yeah.
And do you ever train with Aiden Stephen? Because again, he trains with Scott every now and then.
Yeah, I trained with him once or twice before lockdown, but see, since the lockdown, he wasn't able to come to our gym just for obviously COVID restrictions. We haven't been getting people in at that point, but when things are back to normal, hopefully, yeah, we'll get Aiden down. But yeah, he comes down once in a blue moon, because he's about 3 hours away, I think.
Is it? Again, in my world, Scotland is just north, and that's it. They're on the same place.
He's in the Highlands. Yeah, we don't see him much. Same even Ross Houston. I think he's even higher. I think he's like four hours away or something crazy. So I've never actually been that high up yet myself. So
yeah, I think he's in Inverness. I'm not too sure. Got no idea. I'm just trying to sound cultured like I know geography, but here we go.
Yeah, no, he is, because he's. I think he's affiliated with. Is it SBG Inverness or something?
I don't know. Everyone trains somewhere. I'm not too sure. But again, it's quite a nice mix again, the three of you, because again, it's all like you got you, the Fly, you got Bantam, Scott, and featherweight Aiden. So again, no sort of interest sort of thing in itself. And this is kind of it where it comes to friends in the same sort of categories of stuff. How would you feel like, say you've got a fight announced against like a former teammate, for example? I'm not saying I'm not going to sort of jump out some sort of, okay, here's some flyweight you used to train with, and now you're going to fight with Cage Warriors. But where do you sort of sit on that sort of side of things? Do you have to, I don't know, have a bit of venom to fight someone, or is it just, okay, you just fight whoever's in front of you and then put it there?
No, yeah, because people on other interviews have always asked me, it was always after the mega fight, it's like, are you going to fight Sammy Creasy or are you going to fight for the belt? And I said, I don't have a problem with fighting Sam, even though he's a good friend. And obviously we've been training together. He's like a friend of BST as well. And now I think his brother's there full time. So I don't have a problem with fighting anyone now. I don't need that. Most of the time it's just a sport for me, unless someone upsets me personally. It's just a sport for me, and yeah, I'll fight anyone, even if we've been friends or whatever. It's just a fight, man.
It's business, isn't it? I mean, this is kind of it, and this is where, like, I don't know, you sort of appreciate, because where the question really came from, going to say like Hadley again, you end up getting quite annoyed by things you were saying. So when you went into a fight, a bit more venom, a bit more anger, and again, this sort of, not conflictions as such, but again, you're trying to be respectful, trying to be a sport, but you also need a bit of malice, you need a bit of intention. So it's that weird kind of melting pot of, okay, I'm trying to be nice, but also trying to kick his head in and make sure I mean it, and everything else, supposed to shake his hand afterwards. But this is weird, like, trying to work out where the lines are. Regards of trying to get that sort of, I don't know, melting pot mindset, how have you, has it always been that sort of way as such, or has it been like a bit of some of the other? How have you found your style in that sense?
Yeah, like you say, although, yeah, if someone accepted to fight me, even if they're a friend or not, I'll be thinking, hang on a minute, this guy thinks he can beat me. And then it's like a personal assault, and it's like, you ain't going to beat me, I'll fight you. And there's that side of it. So we'll be friends up until that point, and then fight, and then we'll be friends again. But during that time when you're trying to take each other's crown, there can't be any friendships going on there. So yeah, once they sign the dotted line, they're an enemy till after the fight. But then yeah, it's back to normal. I don't have any like ill feelings for anyone I've fought in the past.
Now that in itself is an interesting one. Like again, like have you trained with anyone you fought after the fact?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, my pro debut up here, Gary Priestley. I've been training for him because he's a very good Thai fighter, and he actually has the same kind of style as Sanfordine. He's like very hands down low and so jittery and fast. It's like he's not fun to spar with because he's so like fast and snappy. And yeah, after a few sessions with him, I got used to that speed because these guys have got speed on me. And yeah, we're great friends. And then I'm sure, yeah, there's a lot of other fighters that I get on with now as well that I've fought in the past.
I mean, this is kind of it. As soon as you go through the Cage Warriors roster in itself, like Conor Hignett, for example, like Adam Alasinga, and you get all these sort of guys who would make good training partners because they're different sort of styles. But in the same breath, you know, being friends with people you're going to fight, it's that whole weird kind of, yeah, we're going to train like mates, but you know, we're going to remember who won which round, you know, where the strengths were. We're going to make notes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few that have congregated together, and they'll say they don't want to fight because they're my teammates, etc. You seem to get that with the insecure ones, but I'm not one of the insecure ones, so I'll fight anyone. And yeah,
This is it. We'll get little
you
comments.
know me, Dan. I'll fight anyone.
But this is kind of it. As much as I'm trying to have this, like, you know, very professional, you know, professional athlete Luke Shanks, you know, very serious, very this and that. There's also, you know, he's gonna who wants to smoke, it's all good. He's gonna bring have some fun with it. Last most important question for you, my friend.
You can't.
Most important question for you, my friend. Post fight. I mean, this is pre-nutritionist like scans and stuff. This is whatever. Talk to me about takeaway, because again, what is after the weight cuts, everything else? Because I've seen you have some nasty weight cuts. What is the post fight? Not post weigh in. Post weigh in, you got to refuel this and there. But post fight, got the celebration, got the champ. What's on the menu?
Oh man. Normally it would be like going out for food, no takeaways, but I like say Sheffield, it was Cosmos. Do you know that Cosmos, the world buffet place?
Oh, it's like fusion
Have
stuff.
you
It's
heard
just
of
general
that?
buffet, like a red hot kind of thing.
It's called Cosmos. There's only a few. There's one in Sheffield. There's one in Edinburgh. I think there's one in Manchester, and that's like the best buffet you can get. So normally it would have been somewhere like that, but yeah, I was just eating anything and everything. But I'd say maybe pizza.
Now, maybe pizza ain't good enough for a professional world champion, my friend. What is on that pizza? Talk to me. Don't spare any details. We want to know what is going in that Domino's box.
Oh yeah, we'll get some wings as well. Chicken wings. Chicken wings and maybe a meat feast.
That's it, busy boy. Thank you again for your time, my friend. Recap on the sponsors. We've got English Hypnotist, Rieco Clothing, and the People's IT. And your sponsors, my friend?
Yeah, Back2Balance Bathgate, CleanEatMealprep, and Mychondria, and I've got so many more.
We'll put them in the description. We'll send them over. We'll get them sorted there. Your social media.
I'll send them all over. Brilliant, man. Thanks a lot.
And your social media, people can find you on?
Yes, The Apocalypse MMA on Instagram, Luke The Apocalypse Shanks on Facebook, and Mr. Apocalypse MMA on Twitter.
Cool. Links those will be on the description. Thank you guys for tuning in.